Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of TVLovesMe Talks, my new podcast. I am back again, and this time I've got something a little bit different. I'm joined with someone whose work I've followed for a very long time. He's a content creator. He's multi-talented. You're gonna check his stuff. His links are in the description. I want you to check his stuff. If you want to learn about photography, if you want to learn about videography, he does tutorials as well as he's got amazing content of his own. Welcome to the show, Emad. How you doing? All the way sat in the heat of Dubai, living life.
Living life. Thank you, man. You know what? It's not been that hot actually. And thankfully we're doing all right with COVID as well. So you get to go out and do things and stuff. So I think we might be slightly better off than maybe back home for you right now.
1,000,000% better off because I come out in December and I felt like I'd been released from jail. Like literally in the UK, it was like, oh my God, can't do anything, can't go anywhere. And Dubai, as long as you've got a mask on and you socially distance, you can do whatever you want.
I'm vaccinated too fully, so I got that covered as well. Yeah.
So the debate, obviously, you are a content creator. Is that how you'd like to define yourself? I didn't want to say it.
Man, it's I guess so. I mean, for me, it started off as somebody who loved filmmaking, and then it got into understanding YouTube in terms of like entertainment and comedy, but then also touching on things that are more important as you get older in age, right? Like things like Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. So I look at myself as a bunch of everything, but somebody who likes to tell stories. So maybe a storyteller. Okay. But that could be so many.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, that's one of the main reasons that I started following you in the first place. Obviously, I found your content through someone else, but it was the storytelling aspect of it, which is what resonated with me. Which is why I was like, you know what, I want to watch more of this and I want to learn, because that's one of the things I found that I don't know whether I'm not doing it right or whatever, but I just can't get that across as well as you were doing in your video. That one video I saw, I thought, wow, this is a full, it's taking me on a journey here, which I really liked. I'll put a link to that as well. I'll put the one with Irfan.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that one. So he did one with you, and then he linked your version of the same sort of meeting. So it was how you met him and what you had to do to meet him and stuff like that. So
right.
I really liked that. That was the first video of yours that I saw, and then that's when I subscribed, and then I followed you since then. But I that's what I like the most. So anyway, so because you're ahead of the curve compared to me when it comes to much far ahead of the curve when it comes to me on storytelling, which is what I wanted to talk to you about. Well, one of many things really, but yeah, the storytelling aspect we'll get to in a little while. We'll start off with just content creation in general. There's a lot of people out there who maybe want to start or have started a little bit and are finding it maybe difficult. Obviously, there's a big learning curve, which I found when I first started doing vlogs. I saw people doing vlogs and they made it look so easy, and I was like, I can do this. This is all right. And then when I tried to do it myself, I found myself, like sitting in front of the computer for like 15 hours trying to edit a 5-minute vlog, and I thought, it's not as easy as they make it look. But there's many people on that journey where they might be starting off. I always say that you should have some sort of outlet for your passion, whether it's food or music or whatever. You should have a page, whether it's on Instagram or YouTube or whatever. You should have a page where you can sort of express yourself. So people on that journey who are just starting out, the first few, you might do it out of pure enthusiasm, but then we get to a point where it sort of starts tailoring off, which is what I want to talk to you about now. So what is your source of like, direction? Like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is the path I want to do. Like, for example, if I was doing food, I'd go to 2-3 restaurants in the first week, really excited. And then I'm like, okay, I need to kind of switch up. I don't know where I'm at. So how do you keep yourself motivated and how do you keep yourself creative is the main question.
Man, I've been on this journey for a long, long time. So my first ever YouTube video was 2008 on a day when we were stuck in the snow with a buddy of mine at his place, and we were snowed in, and we did a Bollywood parody back in 2008 when you didn't care about tags and thumbnails and how and algorithms. You don't think about all that stuff, right? And I think over time, the art has got more complex, and you have to really kind of study and understand it. My motivation I look at it's almost the other way. Like if I don't do something creative for an extended period of time, I feel like I start feeling a little dull. Something's missing. I'm not gonna go out and say I'm unhappy. Maybe that's like a very deep thing to say, but there's something missing or lacking. And then when I get that thing going, that's when the juices are flowing, and I'm in this rhythm. I'm feeling good. So I have to be creative in some sense. When you talk about right now about learning and how there's a lot that goes behind the scenes and you need to understand it. I think you need to enjoy, for anyone new who's watching this, they need to enjoy that aspect of it. So if you're going into filmmaking, but you don't enjoy the how it is to shoot and what does it mean behind the camera and editing and sound and those things, then maybe this isn't the platform for you. Like you need to enjoy the DIY aspect, the behind the scenes, the work that goes into it, because that was what was fun for me back in the day when I started. So that part needs to be fun. And then you need to be honest with yourself of why you're doing this. See, a lot of kids today, it's just to be famous, right? It's to be the coolest guy in school, or to just be able to have this label like I'm a YouTuber. But, I have this family friend of mine who was trying to start something. And I said, okay, so you want to go into this cooking vlogs? Great. Do you have 50 ideas that you can write down on the spot? If you can give me 20 ideas on the spot that you can write down, then this is a niche that you should go into. If you can't, you won't be able to sustain it. You won't be able to be consistent with it. Because I know, like, I can do a series on failures on YouTube through my experiences. Because I've tried so many different things, and I eventually have come to the conclusion that for me, this isn't my livelihood. I have a 9 to 5 job. I do something else, so I don't need to. I'm not gonna say sell out, but if I'm not doing the checks and the things I'm supposed to do to get viral, but I'm making stuff that makes me happy and I enjoy it, then I'm okay with that. But if you want to be a successful YouTuber, then that's not the model on its own. You need to obviously enjoy what you're creating, but you need to follow like a systematic approach. You have to do that. You have to understand, you need to narrow down your niche. You can't be like me, who's putting a video on, who's doing a short film, but then doing a tutorial on that, but then doing a Hassan Minaj comedy skit, but then it's throwing in something about Ramadan coming. That's too much going on. And it's confusing for YouTube, it's confusing for the algorithm, it's confusing for the subscriber. So if you're serious about being a YouTuber, then you need to really hone down on the niche and then kill that for the next 50 videos consistently.
Yeah.
And then you hope to have a following.
I agree with that. I think I'm like you in the sense that one day I want to be doing a podcast, the next minute I'm like, there's some Bollywood dance that I did at my friend's wedding, and the next minute I want to do. So like, I'm not really, I think I 100% agree. I think I'm with you in the sense that because it's not my 9 to 5 job, I just do it because I like it, because I enjoy it. But it's never going to be tied down to a particular niche, because I'm not a person who has just one interest. I've got like loads of things going on and I want to express everything. So yeah, so be it if it doesn't go viral or whatever, but it's more the creative process. Exactly 100% what you've said, where it's like you've made it and it makes you happy that you've done it. Yeah. So you can look back at it for whatever reason. But yeah, but where does the idea come from? Like, do you have to have 50 ideas ready? Or, like say one day, you're busy with your work, you're busy with your family, and then you think, okay, where's my next idea going to come from?
No, you don't need to have 50 ideas ready. So I don't want to stress anyone out. That was more in the sense of if somebody came and told me I want to start a channel and they said they want to do a channel on gadgets and technology, I'd be like, great, that's what you're good at. Is that what people ask you? Like, what do people call Emad for when they need my help in something, right? And then can I have ideas around that? So that's a different topic. But for me, otherwise, I think a lot of it is consuming content. I feel consuming content helps spit out content, right? So for example, I was watching a lot of on Apple Plus. I was watching this TV show called Servant from Night Shyamalan, right? Creepy, has its own vibe, really cool. But those things give me ideas to maybe I'm going to do a short film of that style and try to learn from that. So I feel like consuming content is a big thing in to be able to pump stuff out. That's one way to get ideas, and trying to connect with other creatives, right? Like we were talking right now. But if you're in that headspace with other creatives, I feel like things just pop and flow. Like things happen. And if you're like in a rut, not in the best space of mind, in the headspace, then unfortunately, then sometimes it could take a while.
No, I'm agreeing with everything you say, because I'm thinking, as you're talking, I'm thinking, you know what? Yeah, the last time the reason why I even picked up a camera in the first place is because I was watching other bloggers. And then it's when I watched them, I was like, you know what,
Yeah.
I want to do it. And then
Yeah.
now at the moment, I'm in the point of time where I consume a lot of podcast content,
Yeah.
like video podcast content.
Right.
So that's what's inspired me to do it. So yeah, it's like it's so obvious, but I never really thought of it like that. Is literally the reason why I'm even
Yeah.
doing this now is because
Yeah.
I like that style of content. So I'm
Yeah.
now trying to create my own version of that style of content. No,
So you know where the fine balance is, though, is that
yeah,
to not just consume and not create. Because what can happen, it can happen to me too a lot of times. So if I'm in a rhythm of watching somebody's YouTube videos and I'm enjoying that content, I'm learning a lot. I might go through 10 videos of just learning, and I've learned a lot of good stuff. But if I'm acting on that learning, then it's so you want to consume for sure, but you got to create too, right? So there has to be that balance of not just saying I want to get and learn this art form to its max and then produce. No, you need to learn and screw up and create and adapt and just keep going like that. It has to be like, so there's this famous saying so Film Right is this YouTuber that I follow a lot. These guys are, so because I'm into filmmaking, they're like about filmmaking. So it's write, shoot, edit, repeat. Those are t-shirts they sell. You write, you
okay.
shoot, edit, repeat. That's it. Keep doing it. And that's how you learn and get better and evolve, I guess, as a creative.
I think the first thing you need to do is not be scared of it not being good is the first thing. I think the thing I struggle with the most is because I was following a lot of people whose content was so good. Like, I was watching Irfan stuff, I was watching your stuff, I was watching like Peter McKinnon, and I'm like, the vlogs, like the story, everything was just like perfect, camera gear, lighting, and I'm like, I'm trying my best to do it. And then when I watch my own back and I'm like, it's just nowhere near it. And then that kind of like demotivated me. So even though I was being inspired by these people, when I was trying to do it myself, I was being demotivated by the fact that they were so good. So there's that balance as well that I found. But eventually,
Yeah.
and now I'm in the space where it's like you have to just do it for yourself. It's not about
Yeah.
it's not, don't worry about people, the numbers and whatever. It never was anyway, but obviously it's always nice, that people are appreciating your stuff. I'm not worried about
100%.
getting
Yeah.
I'm not worried about getting a million views. I just like, 4 or 5 nice comments to say, oh, I really enjoyed it. This part was good. I'd rather have that than thousands of views with no comments. I'd rather have 4 or 5 people just say, oh, Osman, that was great. I like this scene, or I like that part of it, or this was really funny. That means more to me than like just numbers on the screen. But
Man.
we're moving on to a very important part, which I'd like to discuss with anyone that's in any sort of creative field. So I want to get your take on it. Social media now is 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 a monster. It's so big. It's like we're our eyes and our brains are there's so many apps that are trying to get into our mind now. Have our attention. Things like TikTok, things like that. So as a creative now, which is what we've talked about, this is, when we were messaging and just before we went live. If as a creative now, do you think it's more difficult for your content to be one, found, two, appreciated because of the rise of certain media platforms, which with very little effort, people can make some sort of content. So you've got like now when I see a lot of TikTok, it's either people dancing or half naked people dancing, or it's just basically it's a collection of people's Snapchat stories put to music, and now that's become content, and you're having to fight against this now, which didn't take long to make, didn't require any training. What's your take on it?
Look, I mean, I feel like it's great. These platforms are great for newcomers, right? Because suddenly, you don't need to know hardcore editing and need to know how to Photoshop a thumbnail for YouTube and really need to think about. You can quick and dirty. If you can do something fun, entertaining, it's out. So I feel these things have given actually a lot of opportunity too. So go into like TikTok was banned recently in India. And apparently it was devastating there because there's so many of these like smaller villages and cities where kids have phones and they're able to make content, right? So suddenly they don't need an expensive mirrorless DSLR camera that I'm using. They're able to be creative, like you said, and how there's an outlet, and their lives are probably a lot more challenging than maybe our lives are. But they are now given a chance at the outlet. So I think it definitely helps them. I think it doesn't help any one of the old guys who are stubborn. Like we can't, so let's just take Peter McKinnon, for example. He's fine. He's so big that YouTube is still there for him. He can try different platforms and stuff as well, but YouTube is always going to be there for him. I think it makes it maybe difficult for the mid-level ones or the smaller ones like myself, especially if I'm not willing to give the other platforms a chance. Like, for example, I have this whole YouTube video I made a couple of months ago about the tips for drone, like tips on how to fly a drone, right? It's like a 4-minute video. If you see that, you'll figure out how exactly to fly a drone. It's on YouTube. Now, I was just thinking recently, should I make smaller versions of that for Reels and Instagram? Because Instagram is now all about, oh, look how I took this iPhone and took these transitions and took this shot. How behind the scenes, right? People on these behind the scenes, 15-second behind the scenes. So I was like, heck, maybe I take my 4-minute video and do like 10 short things on it. So somewhere I feel like, no, I'm recycling content, but at the same time, maybe it's a missed opportunity. So I don't know. I feel like there's no running from it. But at the same time, you still have film movies. For someone like me who's in filmmaking, there's still movies, there's still cinemas, there's still theater, there's still Netflix. So there's still a platform for people who are really in that art form to succeed. So I think you got to embrace.
You have to do a lot more now. What I feel is you have to do a lot more than what you previously would in terms of like effort to put in to get yourself seen. Because like I said, you are competing. Like I agree with you 100% in the sense that the barrier to entry in terms of content creation is now very, very low. As long as you've got a phone, you can create content. You don't need you don't even need a laptop, don't need nothing, don't need to worry about lighting, mics, nothing. We don't need any of this. You can just start and you can put something out and it has a huge opportunity to even go viral. Whereas you've got other people who, like yourself, who've been doing this since 2008, filmmaking, learning about editing and lighting and sound design and all of these things where, you've literally trained yourself to do, you've put hours in, whether it's yourself, content creator, whether it's a musician, whether it's whatever field you're in, if you've had to train and you had to put all these hours in, and your kind of content isn't really consumable in those 15 seconds that most of these apps now target, the chance of you for being found now is probably at the lowest it's been. How I feel.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I look at it also as there are people who figure it out. So hence a lot of big pages or people I follow, they're figuring out this show behind the scenes in 15 seconds, right? So they're figuring out ways to do those tutorial elements in something way easier to consume. And maybe that's going to be here's the truth. People like at this low level, like guys with like I have 3,000 subscribers, something on YouTube, something like that. At that level is so small for the YouTube world that it's not like YouTube helps me out either.
Yeah,
and
100%.
definitely not. And monetized platforms like Facebook, Instagram definitely don't help you, right? Because the algorithm. So it's actually, if you're funny, the first ever TikTok video I did was maybe a year ago. It was me putting my kid to sleep, and the reaction you have when you put your kid to sleep, and me dancing. Because like as a parent, if you put your kid to sleep, then it's amazing. Straight off the bat, I put that up there. I had like 10,000 views in a matter of days straight away because TikTok it seems like a more pure algorithm. Let's just say, if you're good, you're going to be seen. Compared to something like Instagram or Facebook and these ones, no. It's like, okay, how much value does this person really have? How many people have clicked on him before? Can we resurface him up? What do the hashtags mean? So these platforms, the traditional ones, actually make it harder to break through for people who aren't big enough, I feel. Or you need to do a lot. Like if you study how you can get viral on Instagram, like it literally, people tell you need to go and comment on other people's videos and things. Yeah. Even if you don't mean it, you have to spend like 30 minutes doing that.
The Gary V method.
Gary V and a lot of the guys I look at. So
I think
like it's like that's so dishonest. Like if I want to comment on someone's video I like, I don't want to force commenting and then go into and reply to somebody else's comments so they look at mine. That's so fake. but that's what you have to do on these platforms, right? So I tell you, as like, you almost need to embrace the new ones, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
I think
Unfortunately.
that, yeah, unfortunately, that seems to be the
Yeah.
way forward. And I just feel, like I said, for people who have trained, who've put a lot of time, effort into their skill or their craft, that yeah, it's unfortunate for them. But yeah, I on the flip side, like you said, there's people out there, in villages who may be super talented, didn't know how to, they might be amazing singers, but because they live in the middle of nowhere, no one can really find them, and now they've got the way of getting their voice out there. So yeah, it
Right.
sort of swings and roundabouts,
Yeah.
but like it still goes back to the fact that those people who have trained and put a lot of effort in are going to struggle
That's what you
going
feel.
forward unless you embrace this sort of thing, the new technology, which is fine. I'm all for it. Like I said, there's no harm in embracing technology, but some people's skills are just not suited for 10-second attention spans.
Sure, of course,
You
of course.
can't get across what you've got to offer or what
You
value you
can.
could provide in 10 seconds. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
But
So I'd love to see numbers, like, if with TikTok and stuff coming, are people watching less YouTube? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, something has to give, obviously, but
yeah,
YouTube is still such a big platform, which is obviously like longer videos on that, right? So I don't know. I don't know.
I think I think there'll be an age split now, isn't it? I think there'll
Yeah,
probably
it's
be
tough. Honestly,
more.
you're talking to me when I'm in a decent mood, but when I'm irritated on this thing, like, for example, like
Now I need
when
to
I
get
put
it out
TikTok
of you, man.
videos,
I need to just let it out. Let it out, man. This is what we're here
so
for, man. This is therapy, man.
when I would do TikTok, like, I just had like a month of having fun on it, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I go tell my wife, it's crazy. I'm like, I do this TikTok stuff, right? I'll do these 4 videos, and people love it and they find it so funny, and there's so much effort put in the other ones, and it's like,
Yeah.
nah. It's like, we don't care about that. It's not entertaining enough. So it's almost like, maybe it's not about TikTok. Maybe it's about people want to be entertained,
I
and
think
entertainment maybe
yeah.
over information. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a society thing now, isn't it? I think
Yeah.
people are slowly being converted to the fact that unless it's going to grab your attention within a few seconds, it's really not worth your attention. Obviously, it
Mm,
started off with like Snapchat, where it was like 10-second videos of what you're doing, and then
mm,
Instagram copied it, and then Instagram let you upload videos, and then it kind of spiraled from there. So I think we're
mm,
sort of being made to think that this is the way forward.
mm,
I'm not going to say brainwashed, but yeah, this is where it's sort of being led. We're being led down the way that, yeah,
mm.
unless it's good in a short space of time, it's probably not worth your time. That's why everything is so easy to just flick and scroll to the next one. Like
Yeah.
you do it yourself. We do it ourselves. Like you'll be scrolling, you think, see you later, you know.
Yeah.
But I think we're
Yeah. I think
being,
what bothers me sometimes is, how, and maybe this is normal human psychology, whatever, but how much looks or your physical appearance now
oh,
plays a part
that's
in
this
these
now. This
platforms,
is
right?
this is the thing
Yeah.
now.
And
This is a
maybe this is always
million
the case.
percent.
Maybe if in Hollywood the truth is, the ones who make it big are the best looking ones in front of the camera. I mean, not behind.
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe TikTok and these are like 1% of a manifestation of that, which is the hotter, the better, the more ripped you are, the more people want to see you. So maybe it's just, you know, a micro version of that.
But
I don't know.
it's just, it's not microversion. I think it's like a magnified version of society, isn't it? I think it's a reflection of society.
Mm.
Is like, so it's just sad. This is getting into a bit of a deep conversation in the fact that you hold more value the more aesthetically pleasing you're deemed to be by
Sure.
the majority of people. So that's your value in even in content creation. So
In general, and it
in
just in
life,
reflection of
yeah,
content. Yeah, 100%, right? Like, when
yeah,
you're getting
that's
you
the
getting
thing.
hired, when you go for job interviews, generally, and yes, someone can argue that there could, maybe sometimes women, who are more attractive than not, could actually get slotted in a different category too. Like, you're not intelligent because you're attractive. So
Yeah,
that's a different argument. But
yeah.
generally, good-looking people probably get it better than not. Maybe, So I guess you see that on TikTok and stuff. So you see, like, if you're pretty, if you're hot, if you're good looking, even if it's something stupid, people are gonna see it. People will see that dance
Yeah,
over seeing a dance to someone who's not attractive.
million
You know?
percent. That's a whole other thing, man. That's a whole thing
Yeah,
I've got a problem with as well,
yeah,
because it's just sad, isn't it? It's a sad
Yeah, yeah.
indictment of society that this is where we're up to now. Like your value, like I think it's sad going forward. Like maybe it wasn't so much a thing because it wasn't highlighted as much when I was younger, especially
Mm.
because we didn't have all of these things. But like obviously our kids going forward, unless they look a certain way, or
Mhm.
maybe let's make sure that my hair's perfect, or I'll go to the gym, or I wear certain clothes that I have no value. Like I've got no value, so I
Yeah,
feel sorry for those like
100%, man, 100%. We've
kids
Yeah,
growing
yeah.
up now, or my own children. I'd feel bad for them that they have to, this is how they're going to be viewed. They might be the most intelligent person. You
Mhm.
might be the next Einstein, but unless you unless you look like Brad Pitt, no one's gonna listen to your theories on anything. But that's a
I
whole
guess
that's a whole
you got to sell them the Silicon Valley, right? You got to sell them that there is a whole world of entrepreneurs. I mean, the richest of the richest, and they don't need to be hot, right? You got to try
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and the
yeah.
brain matter. Yeah, but
So then we get back to, you
yeah.
know, kids. Oh, let's go into education, kids. Don't forget this
Mhm.
YouTube thing. Then it's like life replaying itself to what my parents were saying to me. Beta,
Yeah,
doctor, dentist, engineer. That's the way
yeah, yeah,
forward. Don't worry about anything else. And literally, we're gonna end up. We're gonna repeat history because now it's saying, don't
yeah.
worry about this TikTok and dancing and getting abs and stuff. As long as you're clever, you'll make some money.
Yeah,
Literally, history repeating itself in a different way, which is funny,
yeah.
which I find funny. But that's the thing. But yeah, in terms of just in general, what have you got coming up in terms of your own creation, or you just kind of just waiting to be inspired and just flicking
So,
from niche to niche?
so to be honest, yeah, I'm not inspired at the moment. So I was inspired when I did the short film recently. So
Yeah,
Feb was a good month because I had a concept in mind and something pushed me to just write it, and I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna do it, and I did it, and I enjoyed that process a lot. Invested in some new gear based on the learnings from that process, and now I just need to sort of be inspired back into another concept. And I'm trying to keep it easy. So what I'm trying to do is, and COVID learnings are there from that, which is
yeah.
COVID forced me to work with a very small crew, which is just me and one other person. It
Wow.
forced me
Okay.
to really I just could shoot in my house. I didn't have access to the regular crew that I do for my sound, for my light, for my camera stuff. So it forces you to keep it simple, but you can still be creative, right? So I'm trying to think of what kind of cool next short film I can do.
So
So
it's definitely films going
without trying to
forward
make
now.
it,
Yeah.
yeah, films more without trying to make it too complicated. Like I said, like I don't want to. There's tendency to try to write and be like, this will be the next big epic. It's like, no, man, like it's not going to be the most epic, massive project. You keep it small and tight. You have fun, and you keep learning and producing fun content, and you keep it simple, basically. So
What about your, like your tutorial content? I really enjoyed that. Is any more of that
yeah,
coming as well?
it should. I wasn't excited recently to do it. So it's almost like, the tutorials come, and now I can do some no tutorials because I just did a short film, but the
Yeah.
tutorials can come without you doing the actual work,
Yeah.
right? So you need to do the shoot. Like I can only talk about how to write a short film when I write a short film,
Yeah.
right? Or how you fly a drone by flying a drone a lot of times. So a lot of these, like Peter McKinnon, let's just say, or the other guys you
Yeah.
see, they do tutorials, right? But they do tutorials because they use those camera gears and those things in their everyday job or their work or their profession, right? Like I'm a huge Daniel Schiffer fan. You should find him if you find him on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Huge
I've seen his stuff.
Right. So he does all these cool ways of how you can put ads together and how you shoot in the how with your Sony camera moving. But he does that for a living. So his living is he makes these cool ads in Canada, and then he tells you how to make the behind the scenes. So I feel like what I was trying to tell myself is like I got these cool tutorials, but I need to also be making that content and going
Yeah.
through that to then make tutorials as a result. So if I had to choose one or the other, it would be to make content, and then as a result of that would be the BTS, not the other way around, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. What's in the water in Canada? Because everyone I seem to follow,
Yeah.
content creation wise, is from Canada. What's going on there?
Man,
What
I
are
know
you
it's
guys doing?
crazy, dude. It's insane how I'm not maybe competitive is not the right word, but amount of talent that comes out of there. Even when so a long time ago, like in 2012s or 13s, I did something called Ian 3, which was me ranting in 3 minutes. That's what the content was,
Okay.
and it was trying to be funny and silly, and it was it was inspired by people like Superwoman, the lead singer was Canadian. There's a Sikh guy, Jasreen, who was from Canada,
Yep.
with so many funny people in Canada, right? And now you have guys like, I mean, Zed Ali's been doing things for like years and years and years. So much, yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what it is, man. There's a lot. It's a flood of like,
I don't know, maybe
yeah.
something in the water. I might have to start buying in
You gotta
some bottled
migrate. Yeah,
water from Canada.
yeah, I don't know what
But
it is. Crazy, yeah.
yeah, but that's great. Emad, thank you so much. I don't want to keep. I know it's quite late where you are now, so I don't want to keep you too long. But thank you so much. I really
I
enjoyed
appreciate this, man.
finally, obviously, speaking to you in person. Obviously,
Yeah,
I've watched your YouTube videos for a long time now, and it's just kind of nice to kind of see you in person. I think we've tried to meet a few times, but it's never really worked out. You know, when I
yeah.
was
The thing is,
there.
when you were here, you were too busy taking all these cool photo shoots in these hotels. So
Yeah, yeah, maybe, but next time, inshallah,
next time,
definitely. Now
inshallah,
that
next
we've
time.
spoken, I think it'll be easy for me to say, "Yo, Mad, I'm here."
For sure, man. Yeah, yeah. Unless
Yeah,
this friggin' pandemic ends and then we can all hang out.
that's the first
Right.
place I'm coming to anyway, so don't worry.
Yeah.
But
Awesome.
Imad, thank you so much.
I
Links for
appreciate it, man. Thank
Imad's
you.
content will be in the description. Make sure you check out his tutorial content will be there as well, and make sure you definitely check out his short film. All the links to all the socials and all the the important stuff are in the description. So make sure you follow Imad as well. But everyone, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again with another episode of TV Loves Me Talks. We'll see you again. Goodbye.
Peace.